Hello everybody and welcome back to Throttle Grotto. This week we're solving some problems on the Boxster and actually we're going to get it running proper. And we're probably going to replace a bunch of other parts too. So stay tuned. Alright everybody, this week's episode, I guess the first thing I need to do is I need to show you the front of the car because I've got it, I'll say mostly back together. I've still got a mismatched headlight. I'm still missing the little corner pieces that go in between the turn signal and the headlight. You'll see when I show you. But the 911 front bumper fits perfect. Everything's back together. Let's take a look. So there it is. It looks really good. You know, for a driveway job and a junkyard bumper and fender and hood and doors, basically everything from the rear pillar forward has been replaced. So it looks good. But one of the problems I've had, and I've been working on it kind of off and on in the back, I guess in the background or whatever you want to call it, but this car has not run right since I got it. It runs, but it hasn't run right. And I'm not going to fire it up because it's got a huge misfire and backfiring into the intake. I've replaced a whole ton of parts, mass airflow sensor, both the front oxygen sensors because they were bad. I had a coil pack boot that was bad, so I replaced that. I replaced the air oil separator, and so the problem is I would run it and it would take a long time to develop engine codes. So I have my VCDS scanner, which works generic mode on the Porsche, but it took a long time to figure out what the problem was. And everybody's like, you got a vacuum leak. And I didn't disagree with them, but the vacuum leak wasn't in the engine compartment. So let me show you what where I found the vacuum leak at. Okay, so I'm down laying on a creeper next to the car here, and underneath this cover, which kind of sits up here like this, I don't know if you can be able to see any of this stuff because it's not super light, but pull that cover off and here is the line for the brake booster, and here are the pieces that weren't connected anymore. Well, they were just barely connected. They were kind of like that with an O-ring in between them, and that didn't work. Something happened where these pieces cracked and developed a big air leak, and now I need to fix it. So I have a piece of brass, half-inch, like a brass nipple, and I'm going to heat up one of these lines and stretch it out a little bit, and then I'm just going to slide this in and push it into the other one, and then I've got a piece of hose that I'm going to slide over it and clamp just to make sure that it stays in place, and that's going to solve our air leak, and then we'll fire it up and make sure that solves it. But this is the solution. Instead of going to the Porsche dealer and ordering probably what is $15 worth of clips, or waiting a week to get them and then not sure if they're going to go back in or not, I'm just going to do it this way. So now you can see we just got that little piece of half-inch threaded into this side, pushed into here, and then I'm just going to take this hose and I'm going to slide it over the top there, put a couple of zip ties around this to keep the hose sealed, and that will be repaired, and it'll fit right back up into the clips like it's supposed to. And then we'll start this thing up. Alright, so that got fixed really easy. It just took me a long time to find out what the problem was. So before I start the car, there's one more thing that I want to fix. So the brake lights, the brake fluid light in the dash has been on, and I found out why. So we look down here, this is broken right here. So I could have just epoxied it, but but we're going to fix it with a replacement switch from the junkyard. And it's super easy. It literally unclips from inside the chamber, and you unclip it, slide it out, slide a new one in, it's done. So let's do that. Alright, so that was all there was to swapping out that brake light switch, or the brake fluid switch, or whatever you want to call it. Yes, the brake fluid's really dirty, it needs to be changed. I know. First things first. So I'm going to hook up the battery, and then I'll show you guys how well this thing runs, or doesn't, if I completely just got lucky the other day and it ran fine for like 10 minutes. So there we go, this thing is purring. It's running really good now, which I would hope so because I've done a lot of work to it. So this is great. I still have a coolant leak to fix. It sprung a coolant leak yesterday because of a hose clamp, so I got to work on that. But our brake warning light is out. So the only things I have left are airbag, and I don't know why the spoiler light is on. So airbag light, spoiler light. I don't really care about the spoiler light. I know why the airbag light's on. I know why the coolant thing is blinking, because the coolant level's low. But $89,000 miles. So I guess the next thing to do is get these airbags swapped out, because I picked up airbags from the junkyard today too. So I'll swap these out. That may not take care of the light, but it'll make it look a lot nicer in here. So that's next. Now the driver's side airbag's replaced, and that went really easy. One thing that helped was a super long 4mm Allen wrench. So if you grab one of these from your local, not going to use it very often, auto parts store, it's a good thing to have around, but it made it really easy to get all the way in, because you got to go pretty deep into the steering wheel to get it out. So this worked good. One half this long would probably work just fine, but good to go. So now we need to replace the passenger side one. That one's a little more complicated, but it's not too bad. Okay, so that really wasn't that bad. It's all back together. I think the camera shut off a couple seconds early, but it's all together. I still need to get a trim strip that goes into the dash here. It looks like it just snaps in. So, I mean, I could drive it without that. I don't care. So we're getting a lot closer. I've already got the shifter installed. I just bought a shifter from a junkyard, and it came from a 997, so it's got a little bit shorter throw and a different shift knob. I don't know if it's going to work with this console, but I'm at the point now where I can put the console back in, because I already replaced the park switch for the emergency brake, which was what kept the top from moving. The shifter's back in, so the only thing really left to do is to put the console back in, see if it fits with this shift boot. It looks like it's probably a different shape, so take a look and see, but you might have to cobble something together to make this work, but it'll still shift. All right, everybody, I am rapidly running out of daylight here, but the interior's back together. Still got a couple things I need to put back together. I got to figure out what I'm going to do with that shift boot. I might take the old one apart and use the bottom part of it as the plate and make a hybrid out of the two. I'm not sure yet, but bottom line is the interior looks so much better. Pulled the seats out, vacuumed everything, and here we are. Check it out. Did I mention that I got new wheels for this car? Oh, too bad we're out of time for this episode. So until next week, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, get out there and work on something.